Brent Brennan comes in and takes over an Arizona program that went 10-3 last year and won 7 games inside the Pac-12 conference. Can he continue the success at Arizona from last year? We'll talk about that right after this. Good evening, everyone. Welcome into West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football. My name is Joey Foster. Be sure you hit the like button on this video if you don't care. It doesn't really do anything for us, but YouTube appreciates it and lets them know that this is a college football video. It is what it says it is as far as the title, and just they can send people to look at this video that are maybe looking for an Arizona preview prediction video, just like you did. So anyway, Arizona, a great team last year, kind of shocked me, kind of surprised me. I didn't figure they was going to have a really bad year, but I didn't see them winning 10 games. And so they kind of caught the world by storm coming out there and doing that. They lose their head football coach, but they bring in San Jose State's head football coach, Brent Brennan, who won the Mountain West Coach of the Year in 2020 or 21. I can't remember which. He's a great football coach. 3 consecutive years, bowl games at San Jose. So I think they've got a good football program or a good football coach. Can he keep Arizona relevant in year one? That's yet to be seen. A little bit different coaching at Power 4 than it was at a Group of 5. But, if anybody can do it, I'm sure he can. Brent Brennan's a pretty good coach. All right, so what about Arizona and their returning starters? Well, 2 of their returning starters most people know about. That's quarterback Fafita, who had 2,869 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions last year. And his favorite target is returning with him as well. McMillan, a wide receiver, who had 1,402 yards on 90 receptions with 10 touchdowns. So a great quarterback, wide receiver duo there. They work right in par with each other. Fafita always knows where McMillan is on the field and just throws the ball to a spot. McMillan goes after it and grabs it. He's a good-sized receiver. He's 6'5", 210 pounds, well-built receiver, fast, speedy, shifty. He checks all the boxes, right? So I have a feeling that they're going to have another great season. So let's take a look at their 2024 football schedule and talk about what I think they will do. And you let me know in the comment sections if you agree with me. All right. So the first 2 games, New Mexico and Northern Arizona, both of them home games for them. I don't think they'll have any trouble with either one of those. Matter of fact, I have a feeling they'll win both those pretty big. But then it gets a lot tougher. So starting out 2-0, that's fantastic. But then week 3, they are traveling to Manhattan, Kansas. Now this is going to be their very first Big 12 game, and it's on the road. And I could think of probably 7 or 8 other teams you'd rather play in game 1 than Kansas State for your first Big 12 opponent. But it's the way the coin flipped this time. They're getting Kansas State, and they're playing them in Manhattan. I have to give them a loss here. Kansas State's going to be one of the better programs in the Big 12. I think if you're looking at the top of the Big 12, I think about everybody's going to have Kansas State and Utah right there at the top of the list, and I do as well. So I have to give the win to Kansas State there. So now you're 2-1. Then you get a bye week. So this is a great opportunity too, because after Kansas State, you're going to need a bye week. You need to recover, and you got to get ready for probably the best team in the Big 12, and that's Utah. All right, so the following week, Utah, you're going on the road again, going out to Salt Lake City. I'm sorry, guys, I have to give the win to Utah again. So I'm bringing you to 2-2 on the season. I think that's just 2 really tough games in a row. Both of them on the road, back to back. I mean, you do have a bye week between them, but still, I have to give you a loss. And you know what? The next week, it really doesn't get any easier, because October the 5th, you're going to play Texas Tech. Now, you do get them at home, but last year Texas Tech was supposed to be a pretty good team. they fell off the cliff a little bit, right? They didn't do too well at the beginning of the season. They finished pretty hot and strong. Can they continue that going into this year? That's yet to be seen as well. But you get Texas Tech at home, so I'm going to give you a victory there. I'm going to say you beat Texas Tech at home. So that takes you to 3-2 on the year. All right, next up, we've got BYU. You're going to Provo to play BYU. BYU, when you play BYU, you're playing a bunch of grown men, right? Because they've all been on missions and they're back now. They're 23, 24 years old. You know, uh, you might be a little bit faster and shiftier than they are and stuff. But if they get their hands on you, they're a lot stronger. So, but here's the thing about it. I don't think they're going to have anything for you, Arizona. I think Arizona will take care of business against BYU. And so all of a sudden, you're 4-2 now, right? Then you got Colorado. And you get Colorado at home. Deion Sanders out there taking nothing but portal players. And he's taking some good portal players. But I've been saying all along, you can't build a team from the portal. You can get a lot of good players out of the portal, fill some holes, and they can fill in and do a nice job for you. But that don't make a team. A team needs to work together for a couple of years to gel and know what's going on. And you know, Arizona has a team. Colorado does not. So I'm going to give you a win there. The following week, October 26th, you're playing West Virginia. You get them at home, and that's probably a good thing. Morgantown's a tough place to play, especially when West Virginia's good, and West Virginia's going to be a good team this year and expected to finish at the top of the conference as well. So, you know, I know, you know, if I say West Virginia is going to win this game, people are going to say I'm a homer. And if I say Arizona's going to win this game, everybody in the chat from West Virginia is going to tell me I was nuts, that, you know, they'll beat them. But I'm going to tell you right now, here's my honest to goodness thought about this. I think that Arizona, after playing Kansas State and Utah and Texas Tech, and then having a couple of easier victories with BYU and Colorado, right? I think they have a really good shot of beating West Virginia. Now, am I going to call for them to win this game? No, I'm not. Sorry, guys, that's not happening. I'm going to give West Virginia the victory here over Arizona. And really, I think it's a coin flip. I think you could go with either team. You know, we're making these prediction videos. We're not even into July yet. So, you know, that makes a big difference there. Anything can happen between now and October 26th when this game is played. You know, West Virginia could lose a starting quarterback and 3 linemen and just, you know, fall apart. Same thing could happen to Arizona. But for right now, I think West Virginia might be the more talented team, and here's why: is because they've returned 90% of their production on offense. They've got this 3-headed monster in Garrett Green, C.J. Donaldson, and Jaheim White in the backfield. Quarterback, you got quarterback, two running backs back there. All 3 of them can run, scramble, and all 3 of them, you know, C.J. Donaldson's a big back. It's just going to come through and bruise you up, and then they're going to throw Jaheim White in there, and he's just going to run crazy and shifty, and you're not going to be able to keep up with him. And so Garrett Green in there the whole time, and he's the same way. He's shifty and quick and deceiving. So I have to give West Virginia the win there, even though it is in Arizona. West Virginia plays good in the desert, guys. You know, you can look back at the history of West Virginia playing out in the desert and bowl games, whatever it might be. West Virginia plays pretty good in the desert. All right, November 2nd, the next week, you travel to the Bounce House down at UCF. UCF come into the Big 12 last year. Did not do very well, as with the other 3 teams that came into Big 12. The Big 12 is just a gauntlet. It's really a bunch of really good, tough teams that maybe are not as elite as Alabama and Ohio State, but they're really just solid teams that could finish 3rd in the SEC or 3rd in the Big 10 just about every year. I mean, these are good, solid teams that could occasionally even upset Alabama's and Ohio State's stuff. So UCF, I'm gonna give you a victory over UCF. I think that Gus Malzahn's doing a great job down there, but I think they're still coming along. only year two at a Power Four level. So I'm going to give Arizona the victory there. The following week, well, actually 2 weeks later, because you do have a bye week there after UCF, another much needed bye week. You're going to get Houston at home in Arizona. Houston fired Dana Holgerson after last year, but that's probably a good thing. Dana Holgerson was not a good head coach. Great offensive coordinator, should not have ever been a head coach. How good can Houston be year one under a new coach? They've got a lot of talent, but I don't see them doing a lot in the Big 12 this year, and especially against a team as talented as Arizona. So I'm going to give you a victory there. The next week, at TCU. Very, very tough game. Very, very tough place to play. Fort Worth and TCU. How good can TCU be? I mean, by the time November 23rd comes, we'll know, right? But right now, we don't. It's like I say, it's not even July yet. So TCU, great recruiting, great program, a lot of talent there. I feel like that they're going to be a lot better this year, but I'm still going to have to give Arizona a victory here. Even though it's at TCU, I still think Arizona can beat TCU as it stands right now. I think they're more talented. And then finally, your rivalry game against Arizona State. Look, Arizona State's a dumpster fire, right? We all know this. I have to give you the victory there. So overall, I've got you losing to West Virginia, Kansas State, and Utah. So 9-3 on the season, which would be a great season for Arizona. I think 9-3. But now I will tell you this: I think there's a great possibility you could beat West Virginia, especially since it's out there in Arizona. And I also feel like there's a great possibility that you could pull off one of these, either Kansas State or Utah, even though you're on the road. Even though you're traveling to Kansas State and traveling to Utah, I could see you pulling off victories there. So pulling off a victory, splitting them games. So I would say my ceiling for you absolutely would be 11-1 and playing in the Big 12 championship. But I think my floor for you, because I could see you also dropping another game. I could see you dropping Kansas State, Utah, and West Virginia, and then maybe dropping one more to this, possibly TCU, possibly Texas Tech. We don't know how good they're going to be. So I'm going to say my floor for Arizona is going to be 7-5. My ceiling would be 11-1. I think we'll be more close to the ceiling part of that than we will the floor. But my overall record for you guys right now is 9-3. So, all right, guys. I hope you have a great season. Good luck to Arizona, your first season inside the Big 12. And I look forward to when my Mountaineers come out and take on Arizona out in the desert.